Rizal Memorial Tennis Center undergoes testing for inaugural Philippine Women's Open. Manila, Philippines. Philippine sports officials will begin operational testing of the newly renovated courts at the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center on Monday, just 2 weeks ahead of the historic Philippine Women's Open, PWO. Over the next 3 days, the Philippines' top female players will face off for national ranking points and a coveted wildcard entry into the country's maiden WTA 125 event. The matches will not only test the facilities of the tennis center but also serve as a qualifying event for local players aiming to compete in the Philippine Women's Open, said Diane Castillo, Philippine Tennis Association, (PHILTA), board member and PWO co-tournament director. The Philippines' top 2 players, Alex Ealer and rising star Teniel Maitis of Mlang, Cotabato, have already been granted wildcards and will not compete in the playoffs. However, Castillo noted that Ealer's participation remains dependent on her performance at the Australian Open. The PWO main draw coincides with the second week of the Happy Slam in Melbourne. A primary goal of this week's matches is to stress test the venue's recent upgrades. We need to evaluate the ball bounce and traction on the newly resurfaced hard courts under competitive conditions, Castillo explained. This testing phase allows us to make any final technical adjustments to the surface to meet the international standards required for a WTA 125 event. 3 matches are scheduled for Monday. Number 2 seed in 2025 SEA Games bronze medalist Stefia Ludo faces Justine Hannah Maneja, while Nina Angeline Alcala takes on Elizabeth Abarquez. In the third match, Kay and Amana tackles Joanna Pina. Top seed Tiffany Nokos drew an opening round bye and will face the winner of the Amana Pina match in the semifinals. Meanwhile, Castillo expressed gratitude to the Philippine Sports Commission, PSC, for their swift action on the Rizal Memorial renovations and their technical support. At least 24 players from 19 different countries have signed up for the PWO. The entry list features Croatian Olympic silver medalist Donna Vikic, who may face a rematch after her recent 3-set thriller against Ealer in Auckland. Also competing are China's Wang Xinyu, who defeated Ealer in the Auckland quarterfinals, and German veteran Tatiana Maria, a former Wimbledon semifinalist. TMT. Rising to the occasion, Rizal Memorial Tennis Center and the dawn of the Philippine Women's Open. On a golden morning in Manila, the A at the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center carried more than just the sound of tennis balls cracking off rackets. It carried a promise. A buzz of anticipation echoed through the polished courts and among the stands where dreams have often been nurtured in silence. This week, however, history is being written in every bounce and serve. For the first time, the iconic tennis venue in the heart of the Philippines is not just hosting a local competition. It's being tested as the stage for the inaugural Philippine Women's Open, the nation's first Women's Tennis Association, WTA, 125 tournament. A venue reforged for greatness. The Rizal Memorial Tennis Center isn't just a collection of courts, it's a national treasure, a place where countless Filipino players have pushed themselves to climb the rungs of regional and international tennis. Originally inaugurated in 1987 and refurbished in 1996, the venue has seen countless matches and champions, but nothing quite like what's coming. In late 2025, the Philippine Sports Commission, PSC, embarked on an ambitious renovation project to prepare the center for a new era. The goal was clear: to bring world-class tennis to Manila and position the Philippines on the global tennis map with a WTA 125 event, a first in the nation's history. The work wasn't just cosmetic. Hard courts were resurfaced to meet professional standards, facilities upgraded, seating expanded, and every crack in the infrastructure smoothed to ensure players could perform at their highest level. Now, just 2 weeks before the Philippine Women's Open officially begins, January 26 to 31, 2026, the venue is undergoing its final and most important test. Engineering in motion, the operational testing. This early January, local sports officials opened up the newly renovated courts for operational testing, a process that's as meticulous as it is thrilling. Over 3 days, Philippine women tennis players step onto the courts not only to compete for ranking points, but also to push the surfaces and technical systems to their limits. The goal of this testing phase: to evaluate how the courts perform under real match conditions, how the ball bounces, how traction feels on different shots, how the courts cope with hours of play under the tropical Manila sun. Every athlete's sprint, slide, and pivot reveals data that the organizers will use to fine-tune the courts before the international pros arrive. Filter board member and co-tournament director Diane Castillo describes it as a stress test, the kind that precedes only major tournaments. Yet beneath the technical language lies something far more personal, the electricity of opportunity, of local athletes carving out their moment on the global stage. More than just matches, a festival of Filipino tennis. This testing period has another layer of significance. It's also a qualifying battleground, where local players fight for ranking points and coveted wildcard entries into the main draw of the Philippine Women's Open. For many of these athletes, stepping onto the courts this week represents years of early mornings, intense practices, and sacrifices made far from the public spotlight. While some stars like Alex Ealer and rising talent Teniel Mides have already earned automatic wildcards into the main event, local competitors see this as their shot to rise, to impress, to announce themselves on the national stage. Ealer, a trailblazer whose rise into the WTA Top 50 has inspired a generation of young Filipino athletes, embodies the larger dream for many players and fans alike. She has been granted a wildcard at home, though her final participation will hinge on her performance at the Australian Open. Win or lose in these tests, every point played this week lays a foundation. It's a festival of Filipino tennis, a celebration of passion, potential, and perseverance. A global stage beckons. While these initial days focus on local play and court readiness, the arrival of the international field promises to elevate the energy to unprecedented levels. With 24 players from around the world already signing up, including seasoned stars like Paris Olympic silver medalist and former WTA Top 20 player Donna Vekic, China's Wang Xinyu, and Germany's Tatiana Maria, the Philippine Women's Open is shaping up to be a world-class competition that transcends borders. For Manila, the tournament isn't just another entry on the WTA calendar. It's the arrival of elite women's tennis on home soil, a chance for fans who have followed tennis sporadically on TV to cheer matches live, to see their own national heroes compete with the world's best, and perhaps to fall in love with the sport.